this is the portion that I would like to actually go through with you. The SG was granted the geological exploration. Out of 16,000, we did 11,000. The mining feasibility was done. The 25-year license has just been approved. The EMA license is still outstanding, bearing in mind that this area is in a red zone. The project mining pilot, we have now just completed, say 90% complete. We've done the trial mining. We've also done a lot on the plant, like my previous speaker has actually said. The 1.2 billion tons was said, and the rest of the other things. It's a very shallow deposit with very good coal to waste stripping ratio. We're really looking at this property. Maybe let's go on to the next one. That generally just gives you the overview of the tonnage that we have. The 1.2 is what is in red. The rest, which brings it up to 7.6 billion tons, is the potential on the property. Let's go on to the next one. Those are the values. Let's go on to the next one. Okay. Because of the potential on the resources that I've mentioned, I've put up a scope of other projects that you can actually do, which is your power generation, your gasification, underground coal gasification on the deeper side, the CBM, your natural gas exploitation, your coke production, which was mentioned by a previous speaker, your fuel company, your properties, infrastructure, logistics, and transport development, because we are really looking at Gwai, we're looking at Dete, we're looking at the railway line, as mentioned by my previous speaker. Let's go on to the next one. The current downside and upside, obviously, we are in the Matabeleland Zambezi Water National Project, and we're on the corridor. We shouldn't really forget about that. That's why it has been defined as a red zone. We've got the Gwai Shangani Dam throwback area in blocks 4 and 5. And the special grant is within the water bodies. There are 2 large projects of national interest, both of national interest, but we are trying to get a win-win situation. On the next slide, please. Investment opportunities under export processing zones. Yeah, what I was trying to do, because I realized that yesterday and today people never spoke about the export processing zone. You're covered by an act of parliament, protection from compulsory acquisition of property, except in terms of section 71 of the Constitution. The dispensation to move funds is necessary. Let's go on to the next slide. No foreign exchange controls shall apply to any foreign exchange transaction for the project or its foreign employees. No government charges or taxes of any kind shall be assessed for the attainment of any foreign currency within the special economic zone. Let's go on to the next one. The right to fully repatriate all your capital and profits without any foreign exchange impediments, not be subject to any foreign ownership limits or domestic ownership requirements, including absolute exemption from the Indigenization and Economic Empowerment Act. All other rights and benefits granted to the SEZ. Let's go on to the next one. Let me talk about corporate social responsibility. Between 2011 and 2014, we sponsored 15 students at exploration stage at the Zimbabwe School of Mines and at the various universities in preparation for today. We resurfaced 15 kilometers of the Lupimbi-Lusulu Road. Over the exploration and project definition period, we employed over 200 semi-skilled and unskilled children from the Angano, Lubimbi, and the Lupane communities, from the local communities. The chief is the witness. That's why he is here with us. We incorporated a security company in the name of Ridge Security, made up of war vets, ex-detainees, ex-police, and ex-military personnel in the community, and gave them a contract up to today. Next slide. Our employment is sitting on 150 and will increase individuals, including 110 workers from the local communities. And we have an employment committee which is headed by the local headmen and everybody else for semi-skilled and unskilled. We don't employ them ourselves, we give them the numbers they employ under certain conditions in terms of medical condition and any other conditions. If they don't perform, it's the same committee we will ask to fire them. Local school re-electrified, local schools maintained and new ones established, monthly meetings with the local communities representatives. This is engaged local Zimbabwean mining contractors together with outside contractors. Next one. Electrification, availing ICT in the communities, infrastructural development, road network development, railway network development to link into the national railways and the regional networks, mainly into Mozambique. Construction of a hospital at Gwai, build both primary and secondary schools within the communities, scholarships and sponsorships from primary levels. Will be involved in significant community upliftment projects. Overall, boost SME development and improve the community's quality of life. Next one, please. In my conclusion, I would like to share with you some learning experiences that I've had over the last 4 decades that I've been in the industry. The opportunities are plenty in terms of the 60 minerals or the mineral resource and human capital, which even the minister alluded to in this country, except for capital. Before we get serious investors to buy into this, there are 2 cardinal learning points I would like to share with you. For us as Zimbabweans and state enterprises, we need to offer projects that have been well explored, not half-backed. This has been the biggest problem. Investors come into the country, and what do we give them? We give them projects that are half-backed. Detailed geological exploration and surveying executed and or extensive, well-thought-out programs or milestones put forward to potential investors, e.g. SAMREC or JOC compliant. Until we get to the stage where we offer our investors or potential investors projects that are ripe, projects that have got SAMREC and JOC compliant, we might find it very difficult to attract capital into Zimbabwe. This is very critical before we start crying for capital to flow into Zimbabwe. Next slide, please. For government, the Minister of Mines and Mining Development, there are 35 acts of parliament related to mining in Zimbabwe, about 45 statutory instruments that energize the mining sector. And all these are run by not less than 15 ministries. Until these are codified, Mr. Minister, we have a problem. It is my prayer that as we attract investors, let us, 1, look at the Mines and Minerals Act. The bill has been a bill for the past 23 years of the 37 years of independence. There's a need for a mineral policy The mineral policy, this is where your tire actually meets the tar. This is where all is explained to the investors, to local investors, and to everybody else, until we have a well-enunciated mineral policy. We will continue to have problems with our investors. Next slide, please. Number 3, the need for the small-scale miners operating procedures, rules and regulations, statutory instruments backed by a desk within the ministry that deals specifically with SMEs. That we will need, Mr. Minister, so that we don't mix it up with the large, medium, and small scale. We need, if we are saying the SMEs is the engine, the current engine of the mining sector, until we know where we are supposed to go as miners, we will go anywhere with anybody. So we need a 50-year national minerals strategic plan. The last time I went to the United States in the Peru, they knew what they were going to do with their minerals over the next 100 years. I wonder if we know what we're going to do with our minerals over the next 5 to 10 years. Number 5, investors and potential investors. You'll need to share the vision with your local partners. You'll need to trust your local partners. You will need to respect your local partners and accept to share your competencies and technologies with the locals for a smooth implementation of your investment portfolio when you actually come in, eventually come in to join us in Zimbabwe. The next slide, please. Thank you very much.